Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and it's been a minute, it's been a little while, but I seem to start every video with "it's been ages," so I'm gonna try to make these a bit more regular. Now I'm settled into a brand new house, a brand new studio, and a new routine. Everything is sort of looking up. I have a huge catch-up video planned with you, so we're gonna do that at some point over coffee and a sketchbook. But for right now, I want to talk to you about self-doubt while I paint this lady in some watercolours and pencils. So let's get to that. Well, here we are in my first ever voiceover. So I have never recorded one of these before in my video, so it may all go horribly wrong. But if you are hearing me, awesome, I managed to figure it out. I'm not exactly technologically minded, but we give it all a go. Anyway, just a quick note before we get into it. All the supplies that I used to do this watercolor sketch will be listed underneath this video. So if you're interested in what I use, go check that out. I've also paid a little bit of attention and revamped my site a little bit recently. So that's ryanjamesartist.com. Go check that out. Okay, so today we're going to talk about self-doubt and also self-belief and what that means and how that affects us as artists. Like every single other artist out there, we all spend way too much time on Instagram or Tumblr looking at other artists' work, and it's so easy to come off there thinking, why have I ever picked up a paintbrush ever? There are just some people that are naturally gifted. I don't actually count myself amongst those people. I've worked tirelessly to get any semblance of sort of image out of my body. I've done the whole art degree, been to art college, all that sort of stuff. It was a complete waste of time. I was too young to really understand what I was doing, but that's a whole other video. Anyway, this it just happens, and then you find yourself comparing your work to somebody else's constantly, and you end up with a comparison hangover. Which is pretty much you completely catatonic, drinking way too much coffee, questioning way too much of your sort of creative decisions, and you just naturally end up cutting yourself off from what you're making. And to the point, I think, where sometimes you can actually creatively stunt yourself and you stop working. You know, I've certainly done that myself in the past, where I've compared myself to the point of where I've actually not been able to sort of carry on with things. I don't do that anymore. First of all, if you're in that position, if you're in that space, it's completely normal. It's completely normal. Artists are sort of by nature their own worst critics, and we're taught to critique ourselves, but there is a point where critiquing becomes criticism. Now, critiquing is just naturally looking at your work and thinking, well, that could be better, that could be done, I could sort of improve a little bit there. But criticism is just literally puking all over your own stuff. It's literally saying to yourself, well, this is just terrible, I'm pulling it apart. It's not the healthiest way to go about there, and it's not really going to move you forward. It's understandable, it does happen, it will happen, and it's just kind of a part of what it means to be an artist. You are going to brush up against all parts of your ego on this journey, and you're going to meet artists that will outmatch you and outmatch your skill level. There are so many people out there that sort of wipe the floor with me, creatively speaking or artistically speaking, or when I see their work, I instantly judge mine next to theirs. But I'm responsible for my own creativity, and that's what kind of helps me through that. I am not responsible for what somebody else puts on the paper or puts on the page or on their canvas. I'm responsible for what I do. And a great piece of advice I had a long time ago when I was a musician and people were I sort of did the exact same thing there, comparing my music to other people. One of the best pieces of advice I received then was to stay in my own lane, to work on what I wanted to work on. It is my job to put what is in my mind on the page or on the canvas, and that's it. It's not my job to put someone else's thoughts, someone else's style, or someone else's ideas on the page. Now, of course, you're going to sort of run into and run up against artists that are doing similar work to you, especially if you're sort of in the I don't even know really kind of what style of work I'm doing, sort of Japanime-ish, anime-ish. I don't know. I can't be bothered to really sort of brand it in that way, and that may be something that is holding me back. I don't know, but for right now, I just think when I get an image or an idea in my head that I want to draw or want to doodle, or if I just want to play at something weird and wonderful pops up on the screen, then I just enjoy that process. Because what happens if you sort of start constantly comparing yourself and doubting yourself is that you start looking at everybody else's work and just putting it next to yours. And when you're doing that, you are spending much more time focusing on someone else's creativity instead of bringing what you have to the table. And what you have, even if you're in a comparison hangover right now, what you need to do is build up the muscle and the understanding of knowing that will always be there. You will always compare your work to other artists, and that's okay. You will always judge your work harshly, and that's okay. The point is to not let it stop you. I judge my work all the time, and I keep painting. Only once recently I ripped up a piece of work when I was having a full-out arty tantrum, and don't judge me, we've all had them, but it's what I do in that is just I don't let it stop me. And you will get points where you're going to want to not really do anything and I do believe in taking breaks and that sort of stuff, but it's when you're actually to the point where you've creatively atrophied. I think that's when you need to sort of get back to square one, and no matter what you feel, no matter what you do, you keep making. This isn't a creative block kind of thing. This is I am not good enough to actually do what I want to do. But if it's really what you want to do, then you should be doing it, Just give that a go. It's not the end of the world. It really is just you painting and doing something. It's just a piece of art. You don't have to, I'm not precious over it. I'm not precious over my work, and I try not to get too, I try not to, but I try not to get too egoically attached to what I'm making, because it's just an image. I'm not changing, I'm not curing cancer, doing anything like that. You know how artists can really sort of get in their own heads and get in their own ways. It's just a painting, it's just a picture. Chill out, just pick up a pen and paper and start drawing and start making. Get into your sketchbooks. If you're watching this right now and you're in a comparison hangover because you think every other artist out there is better than you, so what? So what if they're better than you? That doesn't mean you don't have the right to create. Just because I play piano, and just because there are billions of other pianists out there who can outplay me at every single turn, doesn't mean I don't have the right to get behind a piano and play a song. Just because there are millions of artists out there who can outmatch me at every skill level, doesn't mean that I don't have the right to get up there and just draw or paint or make a complete mess. And you know what, if it ends up a mess, if your piece of work ends up a mess, start again. Just keep working. Feel like crap, but keep working. Hate what you do, but keep working, because that's what's going to really take you to the next level within yourself, not as in turning into other artists. And we've all seen them. We've all seen the artists out there that are blatantly copying what someone else is doing, or blatantly trying to infringe on someone else's creative output. And the problem with that is that when they do infringe on someone else's creative input, eventually when it comes back to their own creative insight, they've got nothing in the engine. They've got nothing to give, because all they've done is spend their time comparing themselves to other people, and therefore bringing somebody else's creativity into their space. What I advise you do is try something completely different. Maybe get out of your own creative zone. Maybe try something that isn't visual art. Try anything. Just give everything a go. Really, really do your best to get out of your own way. But understand that if you're in that space right now, that self-doubt is normal. Self-doubt is natural. It's not this negative thing that has to be conquered before you can get back to work. You just have to work alongside it. It is the nagging voice that will push you to a better version of who you are. It doesn't mean that, if it's crushing you, then that's a whole separate issue. And if you are in that space where it's crushing you, then we need to sort of take a bit of a break, take a breather, and start again. But if you're listening to this right now and you really are sort of crushed by a comparison hangover, then make this video the reason you go and pick up a pen right this second and draw something. Even if it's a stick figure, you do something. You have to learn to work alongside alongside that feeling, because it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And I'm not saying that to be nihilistic or dark or mean. It's just the nature of a creative brain. You are going to seek the best of yourself, and in order to seek the best of yourself, you have to know your flaws. You have to know what you need to be a better artist. So with that in mind, good luck. Know that I love you and I'm there to take care of you. And if you want to continue this discussion, please leave a little message below, and if I can find the time, I will try and answer as many of them as I can. In between now and then, please take care of yourself and take care of each other. I love you very much. Take care.